Modern glassmaking is a brilliant and subtle combination of skill, design, technique and tradition. Man has been using glass to make beautiful and functional objects for over 3,000 years. Here at Dartington, we've been producing the finest quality handmade crystal for 3 decades. But during that time, we have achieved standards of excellence and quality renowned throughout the world. The establishment of a glass factory at Torrington in North Devon has its roots in the south of the county at Dartington Hall. The owners, Dorothy and Leonard Elmhurst, possessed both wealth and social vision. In the mid-1920s, they turned the hall into a centre for a trust dedicated to revitalising the area which was suffering rural depopulation and economic depression. They became involved in a tremendously wide range of activities, from farming to education. By the 60s, the Trust, having achieved its objectives at Dartington, turned its attention to North Devon, which was suffering similar problems. The solution? To build a factory to manufacture traditional English glassware by hand led to the establishment of what we know today as Dartington Crystal. Inspired in its formative years by Swedish skill and experience, the company rapidly became not only a major local employer, but also remarkably successful at producing beautifully designed and perfectly finished handmade glassware. Today, Dartington Crystal employs over 300 people, exports to more than 50 countries worldwide, and the company name is synonymous with the absolute excellence that befits Britain's leading manufacturer of clear crystal. The word crystal, when associated with glass, is often confused with cut glassware. In fact, it's the ingredients used to make the glass which distinguish the end product as stronger, heavier, and a wonderful refractor of light. The whole glass-making process begins with the mixing of the ingredients, known as the batch. Fine imported silica sand is combined with potash, soda, and other minerals. Decolorizing agents are added for extra clarity. Broken glass from the previous day's manufacture, called cullet, is also recycled into the mixture. Every evening, the new batch is loaded into the large clay pots inside the furnaces. It is heated for up to 10 hours overnight to a temperature of 1,400 degrees centigrade. The now molten glass is then reduced to a working temperature of 1,100 degrees. The clay pot which holds the glass is subject to such intense heat that it has to be replaced about every 6 weeks. Every piece of glass made at Dartington is produced by a team of expert blowers. The teams vary in size from 6 up to 11, depending on the complexity of the item being made. Head of the team is the master blower, followed by the deputy blowers, gatherers, and carriers. It takes about 10 years to achieve the seemingly effortless skills of the master. A piece of glass begins life with the first gather of molten glass being taken from the furnace on the end of the blowing pipe. Working in an anti-clockwise direction in the team, the bubble is blown into the gob of glass. It is then rolled on a smooth steel plate called a marver, or worked in wet newspaper or in a scoop. This prepares the glass for the molds, most of which are crafted by mold makers from graphite in the factory. The blower will then carefully lower the glass into the mold, blowing until the glass takes shape. The smoothness of each piece is achieved by a jacket of steam between the mold and the hot glass. This stage having been successfully accomplished, stems, handles and feet are added as the red-hot glass is passed through the team. For larger items, such as jugs, the surplus glass is cut precisely with shears to make a rim. Then, after reheating in a small furnace known as the glory hole, a lip can be formed. Finally, the handle is attached and shaped. As essential for their skills are Dartington's group of in-house designers. Working on a program of constant development and innovation, they continue to create distinctive designs in fine crystal for an international market. Once made, each piece must be cooled at a predetermined rate to prevent tensions building up and causing the glass to shatter. Each piece is placed on a slow-moving conveyor in a temperature-controlled tunnel called a leer, where the glass is cooled gradually from around 500 degrees to room temperature. This process takes from 4 to 6 hours and is known as annealing. When cooled, each item is thoroughly inspected as it emerges from the leer, and if not up to standard, is rejected and recycled into the next day's batch. Those pieces which require further processing are taken to the cracking off machine where the surplus moil is removed. The moil is the excess glass between the blowing pipe and the final product. First, each glass is scored to its final height using tungsten cutting wheels. Then the line is followed by intense gas jets until the surplus glass falls away. Although now looking like the finished article, the edges are still very sharp and must be either beveled or ground on emery cloth depending on its size and weight. Large items are finished manually, while smaller items, like drinking glasses, pass through the top melting machine, which remelts the edge of each piece, leaving it rounded and smooth. Once completed, each item is washed and dried before undergoing its final inspection to ensure only the finest quality crystal is dispatched. They are then put into the distinctive packaging that makes Dartington Crystal a familiar and valued product to be found in the best stores throughout the world. At Torrington, the Dartington Crystal factory has its own shop with an extensive range of glassware. Here, visitors to the factory are able not only to see at first hand the results of the remarkable skill, experience and patience required to produce these objects of quality and beauty, but also to understand how for over 25 years Dartington Crystal has earned its reputation as being Britain's leading manufacturer of fine, clear crystal.